Hi guys, sorry about the technical difficulties today. Let's start with a warm-up and hopefully you already did this. I want you to do the quadratic formula without a calculator. Now you will be allowed a calculator, but I just want you to be able to understand some things about this formula. So I'm going to start by just first A is 1, B is -4, and C is -21. I'm just going to plug those values in. So I have a -4 plus or minus the square root of -4 squared minus 4 times 1 times -21. And that is all over 2 times 1. So I have x equals 4 plus or minus the square root. Now this is the part where I wanted you to do it without a calculator. So -4 squared is 16. It's a positive 16 because a negative times a negative is a positive. And this is -4 times -21, so it's going to be a positive 84 all over 2. And when I add 16 and 84, I get 100. So this format right here is more of where we're headed with the quadratic formula, because I think you can all already enter it like this in the calculator. We put this in Desmos and we can find our two answers, right? But now we're going to go a little bit further and we're going to make it look nice. And actually, we can go further than this on this problem because you should know what the square root of 100 is. Now, if the discriminant was not a perfect square, then you would be done. But this one is just 4 plus or minus 10 over 2. And when you write that out, you have two answers. 4 plus 10 over 2, 4 minus 10 over 2, and that gives you 14 over 2, or -6 over 2. A little more space here. So I have x equals 7 and -3. Those are my solutions. Okay, I'm going to clear this so I can do the next part that I wanted to teach today. So as far as the quiz tomorrow on the quadratic formula, I don't expect CP to know how to do this simplifying radicals, but everybody will be doing simplifying radicals on our next test, which will be next Friday. So not tomorrow, a week from Friday. And it's weird that it's called simplifying radicals because to simplify it, you actually make it look more complicated. But what we want to do is we want to find the biggest perfect square that is a factor of 52. I want the biggest perfect square. So that means that I have to factor 52, and we're going to do that the way we've always been doing it. 1 and 52, 2 and 26, 3 and... Nope, I don't think 3 goes in. So I have 4 and 13. And then if I try 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, none of those go in. So this is all, these are all of my factors, and this number right here is my biggest factor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 52 and I'm going to rewrite it as a radical 4 times a radical 13. The gun here. So I'm going to rewrite it as 4 times 13, and then we're allowed to break up a product like this. I'm going to make it radical 4 times radical 13. And the square root of 4 is 2. So 2 radical 13 is my answer. Okay? So it doesn't look simpler to me, but what we did here is we took out as much regular number, like rational is what I mean when I say regular, and we're only leaving the irrational, this, the irrational part that we have to leave behind in that radical. So the product property of square roots, I just want you to know that we can break up that square root like that. Okay, so if we're multiplying things, each of those things go under their own square root, and that's fine. Also, vice versa. If you had two next to each other, they could go underneath the same one. So we're going to do radical 45. 1 and 45. 2, no. 3 and 15. 4, no. 5 and 9. So 9 is a perfect square. I'm going to rewrite this. I like to write the perfect square first because I know that this is going to end up being the rational part that goes in the front. If you did it the other way, like this, you would have radical 5 times 3. Just make sure that that rational part still goes in the front. This is the only right way to write this answer. For the square root of 108, let's factor it. This one you can try on your own. The answer is 2 radical 6. Oh, so I want to start by factoring 108. 1, 108, 2, 54, 3, no, yeah, 3 goes in. Oh, there it is. There's my perfect square, 36. When you do the factoring in the way that I've taught you from the beginning of factoring, you will end up with a list where this side goes up, this side goes down. So you will see the first number that appears on your right, the right-hand column that is a perfect square should be the biggest perfect square, okay? So this is radical 36 times 3, which is 6, which is radical 36 times radical 3. Radical 36 is just regular 6. Okay. And all of this is just leading me into how this applies to the quadratic formula. Okay. So in this example, I have a equals 1, b equals -5, and c equals -4. I'm going to plug them in. I have -5 plus or minus the square root. -5 squared minus 4 times 1 times -4 all over 2 times 1. But what I would like you to do, if you're being asked for an exact solution, okay, I want to make this say exact solution because we already learned that this part could go right into Desmos and we would have a rounded solution. But if you want the exact solution, we're going to have to, and I know all of this already, what you're going to have to do is put this part, the discriminant from yesterday, that's what we call this number, remember? You're going to put that into the calculator by itself. Okay, so in the calculator, you're putting -5 squared minus 4 times 1 times -4. And that answer you're going to write under the radical. The part that goes in the calculator is not under the radical. You write the square root, you don't take the square root. This is your answer. So, by the way, this is a multiple choice. If you didn't realize what my format was here, it's because I don't usually do multiple choice here. Number 2, go ahead and try it. It should be similar to the previous one. I want to do number 3. I have x is equal to -6 plus or minus the square root. -6 squared minus 4 times 1 times -19 all over 2 times 1. So simplify that first term. And then this part here, you're putting in the calculator. No square root in the calculator, just the discriminant, which is 112 all over 2. Let's go ahead on the side here and break down that 112. First, I need the factors of 112. Does 3 go in? No. Does 4 go in? Then I can try 5. That definitely doesn't go in. What happens if I try dividing by 6? Nope. 112 divided by 7. Yep. So 7 and 16. And there's my first perfect square. So this is going to be the biggest perfect square that goes in to 112. So I can rewrite square root of 112 as the square root of 16 times 7. And that's going to give me 4 radical 7. So this answer becomes 6 plus or minus 4 radical 7 over 2. If you look at the choices over here, none of these match still. So there's one more step. And this, whenever you have a denominator, that is division. So if the denominator is under all of these things, we can divide all of these things by 2, meaning the 6 and this 4 radical 7 both get divided by 2. So the answer is 3 plus or minus 2. The rest of the period, the class solved or worked on the maze because you have a quiz tomorrow on the quadratic formula.